Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Thursday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. You need a roof, you call Parish. Unique physique and unique aesthetics and wellness. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. Bocock Brothers Premium Cigars. Use the code MAT15, MAT15, MAT15 for 15% off your order. Okay, y'all, good morning. Hope your Thursday's off to an awesome start. The first availability report from the SEC came out on Wednesday night, and it is tricky for LSU. If you haven't seen it yet, Bernanrd Gooden is listed as doubtful. So that is a real bummer, man. You're already down Gabe Relaford, and Bernanrd Gooden now is doubtful with that collarbone injury. So your defensive line depth is getting thin there. And then on top of that, Whit Weeks and Jamari Butler are both questionable. Now, hopefully, they're both able to play. I'll remind you, Aaron Anderson last week was questionable, did not play. So, and every situation is different. But, worst case scenario, if you're down Gooden, Whit Weeks, Jamari Butler, and still down Gabe Relaford, obviously, your defensive front seven gets significantly weakened against a team that wants to go run the football. So, fingers crossed, and hope that Weeks and Butler are able to play, even if Gooden is going to be out. So, keep an eye on that as we close. The good news, it sounds like, everybody else is good. Nuss is good. Aaron Anderson's good. Caden Durham, Paul Mabenga's good. Braylon Moore, who Brian Kelly mentioned earlier in the week, had a stinger. He's good. So, those guys weren't even on the injury report. So, they're not even listed, so they're fine. So, well, let me rephrase that. Most of them are. The ones that are Anderson and Mabenga are probable, but Durham and Moore and Nussmeier weren't even listed. So, good news on that front. Okay. We'll say some good morning, y'all. Please smash that like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Remember, tomorrow, free Friday night clinic over at Brock. For any high school football player, athlete, cheerleader, dance team member to get injured on a football Friday night, go see our friends at Brock for free, brortho.com. Parish Construction and Roofing. Love to help you out with that free, no obligation roofing inspection. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com. Restored Motions. Went and saw Crystal yesterday. I was starting to have my sciatica flaring up. Every now and again, I'll get this pain in my side of my hip glute area that just shoots right down my right leg. So went and saw Crystal yesterday and knocked it out, man. So you got pain, book a session, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. All right, let's say some good mornings here. Hey, Jalen. Good morning. Let's get some jingle and positive vibes for LSU and the Saints. Love it. Hey, Maurice, good morning. What are the chances Joe Sloan being Tigers OC next season? I'm expecting some changes to the offensive staff. Maybe you could ask that after the season. They're not making a change midseason. And what if in the next half of the season, when healthy, this offense gets dramatically better? Are you still asking that question? Hey, Thomas, good morning. Craig, morning, Scone. How do you drink your coffee? Black. It's black coffee. Because I fast, so I intermittent fast. I usually don't eat my first meal till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon if I eat. So the whole concept of intermittent fasting is you could eat technically the same number of calories. You just shrink the time of day in which you eat your calories. So I don't eat breakfast. I just have black coffee. I do my perfect aminos and my Baja Gold sea salt and all my supplements. I go through my whole, my whole wellness routine in the morning, but I don't break my fast. So I stay fasted probably until about 2 in the afternoon. And so you drink black coffee because there's no calories, just black coffee with nothing in it. Hey, Brad, good morning. Do you think Penn State or LSU is a better job? Well, given the fact that LSU has won 3 national titles and played for a 4th since 2003, and Penn State hasn't won a national title or played for one since 1986, I'll I'll say LSU. Jacob, without Whit and Gooden, that game will be scary and stressful. I agree. Hadley Val, good morning. Bronco Nation, good morning. If Whit and Gooden are out, do you hope our offense steps up? I hope the offense steps up either way, Bronco Nation. And I think this is a game where the passing game should be able to get going. Vanderbilt is a good defensive front. They are weak in the secondary. They don't have great athletes in the secondary. So look, Bama threw for 340 against them. Utah State threw for 274. There are plays to be made in the secondary if you can keep Garrett Nussmeier upright, have clear passing lanes. Your receivers will have an advantage over their secondary. Clark Lee also likes to affect the quarterback. Vanderbilt's got 18 sacks on the season. I talk about a lot of this on today's Locked in LSU. But LSU is among the fewest sacks allowed in the country, in part because the offensive line has been better at pass blocking than run blocking. And the other side of it is Nuss is very good at getting rid of the football. So that's going to be an interesting game within the game. Tiger Diver, good morning. Do you like our oh, sorry, just read that one. Brian, good morning, Matt, from Pearl River, Louisiana, about to head over the bridge into Mississippi. All right, Brian, safe drive today, man. Thomas, good morning. Day 26. Look at us go. Look at us going strong, Thomas. Patrick, good morning. My eyes open with the alarm clock, and now it's time for Cup of Joe, not Mocha. Mocha Joe. I got it. Mocha Joe. Mocha Joe. That's a Latte Larry Mocha Joe Curb Your Enthusiasm reference. Ian, good morning. Let's see. Bold prediction. Kendra Miller runs for $125 and has 2 touchdowns. The Saints pull out a 24-21 win. Okay. The Bears defense, the scoring defense doesn't look great, but that's because they gave up 52 against Detroit. Detroit was, I think, pretty motivated going against their former offensive coordinator. But Detroit's defense fared pretty well, or excuse me, Chicago's defense fared pretty well against Jaden Daniels on Monday Night Football. I'm going to guess that they're going to be just fine. And Dennis Allen against his former team. So you think Kendre Miller, motivated against Dennis Allen's defense, gets going? I'm going to bet that doesn't happen. Tiger Poppy, good morning, Matt. Are you going to the game? If so, where are you sitting? Sideline, press box, stands? I'm going to go to the game. Not sure where I'm sitting yet, Tiger Poppy. I don't have a ticket. I do have a credential. So I was planning on going on the field pregame, and then depending on if I get a ticket or not, either go in the press box or just sit in my seat, wherever that would be. So I'll probably check with the LSU Alumni Association folks, see if they have an extra ticket and go sit with them. If not, I'll go to the press box. Hey, Survivor's Remorse, Matt. Penn State was slick on James's contract. He's not guaranteed the buyout. He has to look for a coaching job in media. They'll pay the difference if his new contract is more than Penn State's year. Yeah, that's actually not slick. That's how most of them are. They're required to continue looking for a job as a mandate as part of the contract to affect the buyout. So, like Ed Ogeron, for example, same thing. Most contracts buyouts are offset by the person's new job's salary. So that's not uncommon. Now, that is actually common verbiage in a contract. So, but it doesn't mean you got to get a job. You just have to look for a job. So I remember because Ed Ogeron had that in his contract as well. So I remember his name came up for Syracuse, the Syracuse head coaching job, and he wasn't going to ever take those jobs or get those jobs. It was just a matter of he had to be actively pursuing a job, right? Patrick, I assume Pearl Jam is your number one. What other bands, artists do you love? Loves Led Zeppelin. Was a big Dave Matthews fan in my younger years. Who wasn't, right? Preppy, private school, white kid in the 90s who didn't love Dave Matthews. Man, I have a really eclectic taste. The only genre of music I don't like is country, but I'll listen to darn near anything else, man. Um, I'll listen to like John Lee Hooker, great blues guitarist for those that aren't familiar. Um, I love a lot of the 60s and 70s rock, mostly growing up, listening to my dad's music, right? The Eagles, the Allman Brothers, Doobie Brothers, Grand Funk Railroad. I love, that era of music. Listened to a ton of Jimmy Buffett when we were kids. And then I do like, it's hard for me to get into like the current rap hip hop. I think a lot of it sounds the same. But like in my era, when you had like the East Coast, West Coast, the stylistic differences were so noticeable, the sounds were so noticeable, like Tupac, Dre, Snoop, and then you had like, Biggie anyway, I could listen to it. I could listen to darn near anything. Went to Taylor Swift concert with Erica, Alex, who is back to return the punt when South Carolina faked. He knew the fake was coming. Stay close to the line of scrimmage on that punt than any others. I don't know. Probably Xavier Thomas. Xavier's been the punt returner, so that'd be my guess with Xavier back there. Ian, I love your whiskey collection behind you. What's your favorite bottle? Thanks, man. Yeah, it's a pretty cool accent piece. Good conversation starter. My favorite is I love the Four Roses Limited LEs. So it's an annual release. Four Roses does. And I've been fortunate. I don't get one every year. I've been fortunate to get, I think, 3 or 4 of them. I got 2017, 2020, and I think last year. So I've gotten 3 Four Roses LEs in my life. But there's some great stuff up there. I got George C. Stagg, William Louis Weller. That's Van Winkle, the Rip 10. This is all the Wellers right here, the full Weller vertical. So I got a lot of good stuff, man. Survivor's Remorse. Can't wait to see how they media flip. Can't wait to see how the media flip discredit LSU win over Vandy Saturday. Vandy is that good. They lost 2 biggest SEC games. It was like that could happen. I'm sort of less concerned with what people say and more concerned with just winning the games, because I think as we kind of map it out, for the remainder of the season, like, what LSU has to do, right? Like the game that you gained, like the play game, the margin you gained by beating Clemson, you gave back when you lost to Ole Miss. So you're at the halfway point, you're at 5-1. You have to go through the second half of the season 5-1. You do that, you're 10-2, you're in the playoff. And hopefully you're healthy and playing really well and you get a good draw and all that stuff, which can happen. Saw it last year with Ohio State. Ohio State was 10-2. Remind people of that all the time. They were 10-2. And, if you go look up that Michigan-Ohio State game last year, that game was 13-10. And that game was at the Horseshoe. And at the end of that game, the Ohio State fans were chanting F. Ryan Day from the Horseshoe. So, hey, babe, hang on. I got to tell Eric goodbye. See you when I get back. I will. Oh, let me go top Drew's backpack real quick. Hang on.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing.
Okay, y'all. Okay, my apologies. Oh, remember, shout out to Brock as always. Friday, free Friday night clinic. For high school football athletes, cheerleaders, band members, dance team members, anybody injured. Parish Construction and Roofing. In orthopedics, go to Brock and roof. Give a shout at Parish. Unique physique and unique aesthetics and wellness. Remember, $8 unit Botox. Tell your wife, girlfriend, fiance, whoever it is, and guys, ain't nothing wrong with guys doing Botox. Unique aesthetics and wellness. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. Shout out Crystal Poche. Saw Crystal yesterday. Worked out my sciatica. Needed it whenever I travel, if I fly and stay in a hotel bed, I always that usually does not do well for my back. So I had to go see Crystal. I'm going to see her when I get back too. Restoredmotions.com. Let's see. Can't wait. Oh, sorry. Did that one. Carlos, good morning, Matt. Thank you for the show. If the Saints do go defense in the next draft, are you sticking with Rattler and Shuck as your 1A, 1B? Well, sure. I mean, if they go defense, I mean, I think the other alternative is before the end of the season, you realize you're not sticking with Rattler, Shuck, you're drafting top 5 and you pick a quarterback. So if you're not picking a quarterback, then, I think that's the reason. Let's see. Really hate the short leash Chris Hilton has. Garrett throws interceptions. Juwan Johnson fumbles. Receivers, tight end drop passes. Still get to play. Chris drops 1 passes out for the game, getting embarrassed. Well, I don't know who's embarrassing him. But this is one of the things that I asked Garrett Nussmeier at SEC Media Days. I asked Joe Sloan at when we had media availability during fall camp. You have all these weapons. How do you keep everybody happy? There aren't enough targets to go around. And Aaron Anderson and Barry and Brown right now are your 2 leading receivers. And so people love to see Trey'Dez Green get 11 targets. Well, when Trey'Dez Green gets 11 targets, that's targets other guys aren't getting. And if Aaron Anderson and Barry and Brown are your 2 best receivers, then they're going to be on the field more than everyone else. And so then you're rotating Chris Hilton and Nick Anderson. And Nick Anderson is a freak show that you would love to see go take the top off of defense. Well, how do you manage that? Oh, by the way, Kyle Parker, every time he gets in, all he does is make plays. That just means you have to make the most of your opportunity when you get them. I understand your point, but that's all the more reason why the onus is there to make the plays when you have the opportunity to make the plays. And he hasn't this year, unfortunately. So make plays, you get more opportunities. I mean, everyone that's out there has earned their opportunities. Austin, good morning. October marks 2 years since I've eaten any carbs or fiber. It's the healthiest I've ever been. Let's question everything we've been taught and opt out of chronic disease treadmill. Now, I'm with you on that. Now, I do love carbs too sometimes, Austin. But the truth is, I really don't. My biggest vice is sugar. Candy, sweets, that's my vice. Put a brownie in front of me, I won't eat the whole thing. If I like to eat a hamburger and pizza and stuff like that, but if I never eat that stuff, I'm fine. You can give me a piece of salmon and some asparagus, and that'd be delicious. I'm good with that. Give me a steak. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, that's awesome. But I'm with you on the whole, challenge what we've been the food pyramid, for example, is one of the biggest crocs of what ever. Hey, Joel. Hi, Matt. What do you think about Fehoko attributing a lot of LSU's demise in 2020 to RC turning the locker room again? So I didn't hear what Fehoko said. Some people had asked me that about last week, but he had said something about the culture on this team, and I didn't see it. So send me a link. I'll watch it and listen. Then I'll react to it. But I'll tell you, in 2020, O lost the team. There was a lot of bad. A lot of bad. Hey, Jeffrey, good morning. Mansour is definitely the best corner in the conference. By the way, I don't think Fehoko was even on the team in 2020. Let's see. I thought Fajoko's last year was 2019. I'll stand corrected if it was. Let's see. Yeah, Fajoko's last year was 2019. He wasn't even on the team in 2020. Hey, Brent, good morning. Mark Allen, good morning. Hey, Brad, I agree not to give up on Sloan yet. I remember the 2012 offense was atrocious till the Alabama game. That was very efficient. It was. And then they got really good in the last month of the season. Same with 2018. Hey, Patrick, safe travels in Nashville. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Yep. Flying to Nashville a little later this afternoon, going with our friends at Our Lady of the Lake. So appreciate very much them letting me tag along. So we'll get up there. Musa will host AFR today. We'll get up there today, get everything set up, tested for the show tomorrow. And then Friday, AFR from Friends in Low Places, Bar and Honky Tonk on Broadway in Nashville. So hope to see y'all there if anyone's going to be up in Nashville. 2 or 3 not good as 1. LSU will improve, be elite on both sides of the ball, only after we are eliminated from playoff contention, unfortunately. What a weird thing to say. Why aren't we up early? I'm always up early, as a matter of fact. I get up at 5:30, I cold plunge, I go through my whole morning routine. So by the time I fire this up at 6:45, I've already been up for more than an hour. Bronco Nation, Ole Miss was supposed to be terrible. However, they was getting home with 3. I think that is more of a commentary on LSU's inability. Because here's the thing. You can look at, and so yes, that's a reason for concern for LSU. Completely agree. But like Ole Miss being ranked 4th in the country, like I get it because they're undefeated, and so that's what pollsters do. Because they like the voters in the committee just look for the path of least resistance. But like Ole Miss was caught in a quagmire against Kentucky, and that's a bad Kentucky team. Ole Miss was in a mud fight with Washington State, and that's not a good team. Ole Miss gave up 500 yards of offense to Arkansas. Like, that's not a good team. I'm telling you, like, Ole Miss is going to lose 3 or 4 games before the season's over. And I know what they have left on their schedule. But it's going to start this weekend because they'll lose to Georgia. But, like, I'm telling you, they're well coached, and they beat LSU. They were out-coached LSU and played better. They deserve to win the game. So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's not a great team. Like, don't get it twisted. Jeffrey, is there a reason why the O-line is better pass blocking than run blocking? I don't know, man. I think some of it is, I mean, I have a lot of theories on this, but like, first of all, LSU is the offensive linemen are a 2-point stance the entire game. I can tell you from someone who played that position, again, not at a high level, but I still played the position. And this is just physics. When you're in a 2, if you don't know, whatever point stance is how many points are touching the ground, right? So 2-point stance is you're on 2 feet and your hands are on your hips. 3-point stance is you have 1 hand to the ground. 4-point stance is 2 hands in the ground, right? So if you're in a 2-point stance, it is really hard to fire off the ball. And also, the old adage is low man wins. Well, if you're in a 2-point stance and a defensive lineman is in a 3 or 4-point stance, they're starting lower than you. It is hard to move bodies when you can't fire off and you're higher than your defender, or when you're higher than the defender. So, the only time, again, I played a long time ago, and I played only in high school, but the only time we were ever in a 2-point stance and started the play from a 2-point stance is when we were quick counting. Like if we went on set, like we were all still in a 2-point stance. But anyway, I think that's part of it to begin with. I think in modern offenses, you don't see as much power. You see more sweeps, misdirection, counters, and so you don't see. And with RPOs, an RPO is a run call with a pass option. Well, the offensive line, remember, like if you have a combo block, for example, and your job is to get to the second level, like let's say a guard and a tackle are combo blocking, or a guard and a center. So like there's a man in the gap and there's a linebacker at the second level, and the two of you are responsible for there. Well, the way you combo block, like if the play's going right, is center is going to shade toward the defensive tackle and then break off to the second level, whereas the guard then is going to engage the defensive tackle and then loop and then try to position his body around. Well, the center, if it's an RPO with a pass option, the center can't get to the second level in case they pass it, because then you're an illegal man downfield. So then if you're trying to run the ball, then you have a free linebacker come. There's a lot of things, man. There's a lot of things that I think, which is one of the reasons why this past Saturday, with the commitment to the run and design runs and more run formations and heavy formations, I think does assist your offensive line. They use Malachi Lane as a fullback. They use Pyburn as a fullback. You had some 14 personnel with 4 tight ends. You had Bordelon, who's an offensive lineman who puts on a tight end jersey on the field. Like, I think a lot of that was things that was encouraging for me to see in the run game, because that showed an evolution in your run game. Like, I don't think it was a coincidence that all of a sudden they ran for 160. I think they committed to doing it, and they showed you more run-based formations to alleviate pressure off the offensive line, to not have to run block from a 2-point stance where you don't know if they're running or passing. Complicated answer. I don't know if that helped. Hey, Clayton, Andrew, Brian, good morning. Seth, good morning. Next year is Olave's last season on his contract. Do you think the Saints should trade him after this year? I think they should trade him now at the trade deadline. They picked up the 5th-year option. Let somebody else pay that. Trade him at the deadline. That's what I would do. Because I don't see a world. Well, the question is, does Chris Olave think he's first-round receiver material and going to get first-round money? Because if Olave wants first-round or like number 1 wide receiver money, then you're not paying him that. There's no justification for that. So you either watch him walk in free agency after next season and get nothing for him, or you trade him and try to get something for him, which is what I would prefer to see them do. Bears defense allowing 55.7 yards per carry. Miller and Kamara might have a day on Sunday. The Worm, good morning. Mark Allen, since Vandy struggles covering the pass, I wonder if we see Jelani Watkins for a play. Maybe, but I would also say, man, like, you've got fast guys. Survivor's Remorse mentioned earlier, like Chris Hilton. Chris Hilton didn't have any trouble getting off the line. He's drawn 2 or 3 PIs from people grabbing him because he runs right past him. Barry Brown is one of the fastest guys in college football. Nick Anderson can be, like, they've got deep threats. I mean, they're good there. Hey, Blair, easiest for Sada now. We should have gotten another OT in the portal. One of the coaching staffs missed on it. Yeah, no, they did. They went after Wook and Formby from Alabama, the right tackle at Alabama. And they basically had him. And then Bama came in late and matched the offer or whatever, and so he stayed. Now, no one will ever say that on the record because that's tampering or whatever. But like I tell you all the time, you don't deal directly with the player. Every player has representation. Players have agents. So there's nothing prohibiting a member of the collective at LSU from talking to a player's agent or representative. Like, there's no rule preventing that. But no one will ever talk about that aloud. So, yes, they did go after tackles. They went after Formby. There was a kid from Montana. I mean, they went after a bunch of offensive linemen. It was what was that guy's name? I think he won it for 52. I think it was Montana, wasn't it? I think it was Montana, or maybe it was Montana State. What was that guy's name? Connor Moore. Connor Moore. Where did he land? Michigan State. Connor Moore ended up at Michigan State. They did. They targeted. They targeted a lot of linemen. They targeted a lot of safeties as well. Dylan Thieneman from Oregon, who made the interception against Penn State. I mean, they were targeting Dylan Thieneman. The safety out of Jacksonville State that ended up at Florida State. I gotta go. It was doggone it. I can't find his name. I think he might be at Florida State. Oh, there it is. Poyser. Zachariah Poyser. Where did he land? I think he's Florida State, didn't he? Miami. Sorry, he went to Miami. I knew somewhere in Florida. Miami. Anyway, so yeah, dude, they were going after everybody. Anyway, all right, I got to go. Thanks for being there. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Locked on LSU's live, AFR 3.